Hello, welcome back. Tina O here from Tina O Life on night 8 of 25 nights to close 50. If you're new to meeting me, I am a story coach, a story keeper, a writer, an artist, a probably a performance artist of some kind. I'm still figuring it out. If you've been watching me for a while, yeah, you kind of get it already. But if you're new, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Last year, I did 50 nights to honor my 50th year, 50 nights of stories, a collection of pieces of where I've been and the pieces I was writing into of where I'm going. And so this is my way of closing my 50th year. And I had insights along the way, and these are my insights. So this is what I got tonight. Ready? So every zone of our life, if you listen to last night's, the one about the blind spots and Clarissa Pinkola Estes, you heard about my joke about, our 20s, all I did was drink wine and eat chocolate and cry and go to therapy and try shit that didn't work and try stuff that did work and the freaking roller coaster as it should be. It's like, yeah, yeah, you do that in your 20s or you do that whenever you do that, but you do it in your 20s to set up your 30s, and every 10 years sets up the next 10, right? And then your 30s, I made this whole thing about whiny 30-year-olds. Oh dear God, they're so whiny. We know so much and we're still, I don't know, whatever. We think we're entitled to ease or something because our 20s were so hard, and 30s are all about rolling your sleeves up and making choices and building shit. You're building your family, you're building your career, it's nonstop building. And in order to build all that stuff, you take a bunch of courses, you sign up for all these different things, and you think you know stuff. Your 30s are all about the whiny 30s. Go to oh God, save me from the dinner parties and I say this kindly, but save me from the dinner parties with not so much anymore, but that sounds really nasty. In fact, that might be a shift in my 50s. In my 40s, I would have said, save me from the dinner parties where there are 30-year-olds, 30 somethings in the room that want to tell me about their last book that saves the world. I don't care. That was my bitchy 40-year-old self, because the next decade of 40s, you realize, jack shit, you're going through a midlife crisis and it hurts. Everything that you've ever built breaks. All of the institutions and I mean, not institutions externally, although certainly right now, that's probably true for a lot of people. But I mean, the pillars of your life, you realize these are pillars, all the things that you built in your 30s. You're like, what did I build them for? Are they good pillars? Damn it. I thought that was a good pillar. It just came down. Right. And so there's a bitchiness. I'll speak for me in our 40s. Again, I'm speaking for me. You may not be a bitchy 40 something. And then 50 hits. And I know I'm just 50, so I can't speak to all of the 50s. I can't. But I can talk about the softening of that bitchiness and what arrived for me that opened up, I guess, that softness was, remember how yesterday I talked about that threshold thing, and the threshold thing of behind you at your back is where you've been. And then you've got the right now thing in your body. And then you've got your eyes that are looking forward. And I was talking about welcoming 50 and how that's a decision. It's a decision to welcome that. Well, in that threshold place of welcoming, there's a piece, at least for me, about noticing that I've been doing the same thing my whole life, setting me up for mastery of something. And sometimes it takes some support to get there, to see how it all adds up. I have my key people. I have a standing appointment with Chris Durkee, a soul interpreter, And you can find him at chrisdirkes, DIERKES.com. Um, and I happen to run with a pack of wolves. If you heard me talk about women who run with the wolves, and when you run with a pack of wolves, you kind of can't get away from yourself. You'll always see who you are. And I've got some key wisdom keepers in my life that help me see. And so going into this place of mastery, this is what I'm this is the big lesson from 50, is that my life up until 50 is a body of work. And if I track all of the turning points in that body of work, if I read under the words in my body of artistic work, if I connect the pain points where things hurt, the things that hurt the most, and look for the common message in it. If I look at the greatest freedoms in that body of work pre 50, all of these beautiful jewels in this bag of my life point to one thing, or point to one collection of things. When I work with Mary Beth Dean on the Writer's Adventure, we talk about we want you to get lost in the woods, but we want you to get lost in your woods. We want you to write your novel. We want you to write your thing. And the way to avoid the rabbit holes is to make sure you're going into rabbit holes that are actually in your thicket, right? And that's what I mean about mastery. And then in my work with Chris, this understanding, or learning of the different zones of our, or different quadrants, and I don't know what body of work this comes from, and I might not be saying it right, but I'm not at the crone stage yet. I'm actually in my mastery stage now. I'm setting up the crone, which comes around 65. And for me to really get to 65 and frickin' love it, like love the shit out of it, it's by living fully in this section and owning my mastery in the world. So in Tina language, it's like owning my core story. It doesn't mean, I want to be careful about this, because it doesn't mean I have to it doesn't mean it has to be like the focus of my career. It is for me. It absolutely is for me, but it doesn't mean it has to be that. It's just owning the gifts you've been given that are innately yours. It means owning the scars that you have that are now innately yours. It's owning all of these, all the joys, the pain points, the work you've done, all the things, and asking yourself, what's the intersection? And am I going to do that? Am I going to do it? Am I going to do it? Am I going to let myself be a master at the thing that I've done for the last 49 frickin' years? Am I going to own it? Yeah. So of course I said yes. Of course I said yes. And this is a kind of a late one, I think, in my 50th year. It started with, oh my God, with the clown piece and expression, and frankly owning my neuroses, like all the things I'm a wingnut about, owning that stuff and mining for the gold in it. It's like, what is this self-conscious crap that runs my life, or had run my life? And then I wrote that scene called Eggs in Oh My God, which led to the witch burning and led to this whole other journey thing. It's like owning all of that stuff, and then owning the stuff that you're damn good at. Like I have been super self-conscious about how and not and yeah and on and off about how many faces I make. Like I'm a total face maker. I totally come by it honestly. Like own that. Own it. Where does that live in the world? Where does that live? Um, I when I discovered Dr. Martin Shaw, a mythologist, about mm, s- 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, probably 5 years ago, changed everything. I listened to his work and it was like he was speaking the language in my head I didn't even know I had yet. That was a glimpse of the mastery I was stepping into, but I couldn't see it until I could see it. Sometimes we need, right? We need context to make sense of the things that don't have context. Mastery. And I know that if I don't do this all in, not to prove anything, not to hit a damn goalpost, but just live it. If I don't live it, if I don't live my mastery, I'm going to turn around when I'm whatever age, 65 or whatever, and go, oh my God, where did that time go? And again, it's not about like proving or having to fill the time or like all that stuff is a freaking distraction. It's about like, if I really want to enjoy the crone, to get the wisdom of the crone, I got to own the mastery first. So that's what I'm doing because this decade sets up the next decade. So that was an aha for me in my 50th year. Thanks for listening. Thanks for considering. Thanks for walking with me. And I'm curious for you, what is, where have you always been that it's time to like stand in it and say, yeah, I am that. I am that. No apologies. In fact, let's go rock that out. Let's go party that shit up. I'm also mouthy. You know what? I didn't know I was mouthy. I'm mouthy. Okay, I'm mouthy. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. We will see you tomorrow on night 9 of 25 nights to close 50. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.